Hey there, I'm Chef Ani, and today we are making mini apple hand pies. I could not be more excited about this recipe. These little apple mini hand pies are not only adorable, but they're also delicious. Your family and friends are going to love them. So enough talking, let's get cooking. So we're going to start by making our crust, and this, you know, is the secret to a really good apple pie. It's that flaky, beautiful crust. And for this crust, we are going to start with some flour and some salt. The next thing we're going to add is some plant-based margarine and some coconut oil. You can also see my website for other options. Now I use a food processor for this just because it makes it super simple. But you could also use a bowl and just use a pastry cutter to cut in the oil. But this just makes it super simple. And the last thing we're going to add is some water. And you want to add enough water that the dough kind of comes together when you squeeze it. And as you can see, I have a good dough now. Pull it together and it can make a nice little dough like this. So that means we're good. If it was much drier than this, just add in a little more ice water, a little at a time until you get the right consistency. Okay, so we have our dough here. And one of the things with pie dough is you don't want to overhandle it or overwork it when you're mixing it. You want to just bring it together and then stick it in your fridge to chill for a few minutes. Moving on to our filling, we are going to peel and cut up some apples. I love apple season here in New England. It is such a charming, charming season. You have these beautiful apple orchards and people come and pick apples as families, and it's so charming. Don't you love going to apple orchards, Mama? They're my happy place. I always get sad when I have to leave. Actually, this spring we planted our own apple trees into this tiny little mini orchard in our yard. Oh, this is a little muddy down here. Ooh, regretting this move. Okay. That's good. It looks so good though, doesn't it? Look forward to when we can pick our own apples. Today I'm using a Cortland apple. It's a really nice apple. We went and picked these ourselves. And the neat thing about Cortland apples is they hold their shape while they cook, so that's really good. But they still have a very sweet and delicious flavor. Now we're going to add in a few more ingredients. We have some allspice and cinnamon. That adds a lot of flavor to these little pies. Some vanilla extract, some cornstarch, and the reason I put cornstarch in here is because I have maple syrup in my recipe, but if you decide not to use maple syrup, you can just take out the cornstarch, you won't need it. And of course, you can find a detailed recipe on my website, chefani.com. I'll leave a link down below. And we're going in with some maple syrup. Two things that are really important in New Hampshire: apples, maple syrup, right? Yeah. We take those two things very seriously. And we're going to add a splash of lemon juice. This just brightens the flavor. Cook this until our filling is a nice thick consistency. Now that we have both our crust and our filling, I have taken the crust out of the fridge and we are going to divide it into two just to make it easier to roll out. And I like to use one of these canning rings just to cut out our little pie rounds here. And you want to cut out one for the bottom and one for the top. Obviously. And then you could just take a knife to score the top, but I do think it looks really pretty if you teardrop shapes. Yeah, Mom says you can just poke holes with a fork. That's right. And you just want to take a fork and just press those two layers together. And you want to press enough that they won't come apart. They're not going to separate. The two shall be one, right, Mama? Mm-hmm. And there you have it. All we have left to do is pop these in the oven to bake. This is our little hand pie right out of the oven. Look at that beautiful filling in there. It is beautiful, crispy crust. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, you can get the detailed recipe on my website, chefani.com. I will leave a link down below. You're going to want to try this recipe. It is one of my favorite, and it's perfect for this time of year when we have apples and we want that warm and cozy feeling of apple pie, but like in mini adorable form. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday with another video.